Good evening and welcome to Flash. My name is Martin, and tonight we are going to be writing some Flash fiction. With me, as always, is my partner in crime, Dickie Holliday. How are you doing, Dickie?
I'm one of your many partners in crime, it seems.
And with us as well is the very talented. He says he's a ghost writer and that he's had books picked up by actual publishers. He also says he has a really hot girlfriend, but we wouldn't know her because she goes to another school. It's Malcolm Bradley.
Hi there. How you doing?
And from Florida, we have books by Adrian.
Hey everybody, hello. I'm Adrian. What's up?
And the author of One Road In, it's Hannah Palmer.
Hello. I'm not from Florida, but I kind of wish I was. It's cold here.
Nobody wishes they're from Florida.
Well, when you're from England, you do.
And good evening to everyone who is watching at home, including Barrett Laurie, Cool Gamer, and I once seen a hedge.
What?
I thought it was a non sequitur for a minute.
What does that mean?
What?
Now, this is how it's going to work. We're going to come up with a prompt. We're going to... Stop distracting me with comments. We're going to select genres, but first we are going to play our new game show.
Okay.
Play your library cards right. It's a format point. Then we're going to write some flash fiction and then read it. And if you want to, you can play along at home. So, how's everyone doing?
Doing good.
Good.
Screaming babies in the background, but doing good.
You're murdering babies in the background, is that what you said?
Hopefully not. My wife is alone with them. Hopefully she's not murdering them.
Oh,
I'm now concerned that I have lost my library card. I wasn't made aware that I had to bring it with me. I haven't had mine since I was about 18.
I have a library card. I can go get it if I need it.
Can I use another sort of card?
No, you'll just be disqualified.
Debit or
What
credit?
kind of card?
Oyster.
What have I got?
Who has an Oyster card anymore?
me?
Tesco Club card?
Nectar card?
Did you do
Yeah.
the trendy thing where you took the chip out and put it on a Harry Potter wand? I say trendy, I mean the other thing.
I've actually memorised my club card number in my head because it fell apart, actually. So, yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
And that's why you are someone's dad.
And nothing more.
I'm someone's dad.
You're multiple someone's dead, aren't you?
I'm to someone's dad.
So, any ideas for flash prompts? Put them in the chat if you've got them at home.
I always forget this. This is too much pressure.
Bethany, hello.
Bethany's here. She must have a prompt. Give us a prompt, Bethany, please. We're dying here.
It's always
Grandmas.
lovely to see Bethany.
Probably naked.
Naked old grandmas.
Always the same.
Right,
Yeah.
screw it. We're going grandmas.
No, why?
Oh.
No.
Bethany, you've
No,
betrayed me.
Bethany.
I don't know what to write about a grandma. Let's go.
Are we doing the prompt before or after the game show?
Yeah, what do we do?
Well, I think we should probably take some time out to do the game show to give
Yeah.
everyone a bit of thinking
I mean,
time.
if you want to go straight into the work, Martin, I mean, no small talk, no chit chat. Let's get straight to the, straight to business.
I mean, would you like to chit chat? How was your day, dear?
And who are you talking to?
You, dummy.
Oh, I see. Okay, my day was fine. Thanks for asking. What happened? Oh no, nothing really
What's your
happened.
Tesco Club card number? Do you know it off by heart?
No. I've got my Nando's card on my phone though.
Oh, I hate Nando's. It's like fried rat, but not as good for you.
What? What are we talking about?
Adrian,
Do you have
look
Nando's in the
confused. Have
US?
you never had a cheeky Nando's?
Ugh.
I just
not
splashed
really built
myself
for
up
me.
the nose.
Do they even do a veggie option? Is it
They
just
actually
chicken,
do
chicken
do
and more
veggie
They
chicken?
do. Not that bad.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for sharing.
Barrett, as an experienced live streamer, I expect you have a bottle ready.
Is he vlogging this moment?
I
Who's
hope
to
so.
say?
What an honour. Hello, Shannon. Hello, Bex.
Well, okay. Nando's is
Well,
a
if they
British
pay for product
institution.
sponsorship, we will mention them. Until then, we will say no more.
I don't have any idea what's going on. I'm just gonna wait.
That's fine. That's how this thing goes, Adrian.
I'm just gonna sit here until somebody tells me to do something.
Pretty much. I think Nando's is maybe a bit like Chick-fil-A. Maybe.
You
It's
just said the
chicken.
magic word.
It's chicken.
It is mostly
Chicken.
chicken, isn't it? I'm sure it is.
Cheeky, spicy chicken served with a side of banter.
Ugh.
Right.
Wow.
As you know,
Hold the
we
banter,
have a
please.
format point of the spinning wheel of genre, in which we assign you a genre that you will write your flash fiction in, unless you just decide not to. We don't really have a way to enforce it. However,
I'll
since
enforce
some
it.
people may not like the genre they are assigned, we're giving you a chance to win a second spin. It's like gambling. We will now play.
There's no
Play your life
stake to
cards
it.
right. The way this works, we are going to tell you the name of a famous book, and then the next card will have another famous book. It is up to you to guess whether the next book's Goodreads score is higher or lower. It's an original concept, not like any game shows with Bruce Forsyth.
He's
That
dead.
passes
Hannah,
just
since
legally.
you've expressed such an interest in the classics on YouTube recently, we'll start with you with some classic novels.
What?
Wicked. That's great.
Hang on. We got to define what a classic novel is first, haven't we?
It's the ones that we've made the graphics of, and nothing more.
Penguin Classics. That's fine.
So, your first card is A Tale of Two Cities,
Ugh.
which is 3.86. Next is Tom Sawyer. Hannah, are you going to go higher or lower?
Nothing for a pair.
If
Nothing for a
anyone
pair.
not Hannah wants to
Well, in
shout
this
out
game-
words higher or lower in means of encouragement, do so now.
Lower. Lower. Lower.
Okay.
Lower.
Oh,
Ah,
it's higher. You were
No.
wrong. You should have
Hang on, I
gone
forgot
higher.
what the
You're
previous
on to
score
lower.
was.
But there's still time. Next up, you have Wuthering Heights.
ugh. I know what I scored that.
Is that higher or lower than 3.92?
I mean, it's got to be lower. Though loads of people like it, and I don't know why.
People in the chat, shout out higher or lower now with typing.
Lower. In Kate Bush's voice, lower.
For those unaware, that is exactly what Kate Bush sounds like. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Phew.
You're right to go lower.
Close.
3.87.
Really close though.
Next, Bath's Finest, Sense and Sensibility. Is that going to be higher or lower than 3.87?
It's fine, by the way.
Chat, what do you think? Higher or lower?
This is hard. Hi.
Adrian, which of these books so far did you enjoy reading the most?
He's just baffled at what's going on.
I have no
Jane
fucking
Austen
clue.
Richards.
Let's just go. Lower. All right.
Shannon says lower. Shannon has an absolutely brilliant AuthorTube series on her publishing journey that you should check out if you want to know the first thing about how marketing a self-published book works. Very interesting. And if you don't, I don't even know why you're here. No, Malcolm, that doesn't mean you can leave.
Oh. Becky saying higher. Bethany's also saying higher.
I'm saying higher.
What, we're going higher?
For me personally, it's higher. Yeah.
You were right to go higher. It's 4.8.
4.08.
4.08. Yeah.
Big difference there.
Okay. And you have one more, which is The Great Gatsby.
Oh,
Higher
well, this is
or
my personal favourite, so I'm going to have to go higher, even if it's not higher.
Everyone else would have said it was higher.
It beats Sense and Sensibility for me. I'm going higher.
Oh, no! It's lower! You were wrong to go higher.
For years,
So
it wasn't
does-
even considered a classic.
So does that mean Hannah loses?
I don't know. We didn't figure that bit of a performance out yet. I think she got
This
more
game have any
right
rules?
more right than wrong, so we'll let her have it.
Martin, we should have talked about this a bit more.
Martin, I thought you at least knew what the fuck was going on here. Like, what are we doing?
What are the rules?
And I'll take that as Adrian volunteering to go next.
Why the hell not? Let's do it.
Since you are, I believe, an American, I've
Am
picked
I?
an American author,
It's
Ernest
news to
Hemingway.
me.
Wait, who?
First up, this isn't one of Hemingway's, but we need somewhere to start.
Okay.
Nightmare Tenant. Richard Holliday, how did you write a book that is most definitely better than The Great Gatsby, according to Goodreads?
I mean, it officially is. So what I did was I thought of
checks
the
out.
idea and I wrote the book.
No.
Genius.
Adrian, have you read any Hemingway?
No.
Adrian, have you read this?
I
Not
do
yet,
love-
it's
I do
still on
love
my
this
list.
Hemingway.
Not yet, brother. I will. I'll get to it. I'm just trying to finish my own novel right now. I haven't read anybody's.
Okay, so first up we have his first one, The Sun
All right.
Also Rises. Is that going to be higher or lower than the frankly overvalued Nightmare Tenant?
I'm gonna go with lower. It's gonna be lower than Nightmare Tenant. None of that.
Oh, you were right to go lower.
I
Does
was.
this mean I'm better than Hemingway?
Yes, that's exactly what it means.
Okay, that is going on the back cover. Better
Boom.
than Hemingway.
Better than
More
Hemingway.
sober than Hemingway.
Brackets
Yeah.
still has his own head.
Better than Hemingway with just as much alcohol.
Yeah.
Next up is Hemingway's Nobel Prize winning novella. It's not very long. The Old Man in the Sea, which I thought was really boring. Are you going to go higher or lower?
It's really boring.
I mean,
It just
I haven't
sounds
read
really
it, but
boring by that.
yeah, it sounds very boring. But if it won a Nobel Prize, I'm gonna assume it's higher.
It's just a couple of hours of some guy sitting in a boat going, I'm an allegory for Jesus.
Isn't that every story?
Not like this. Most of them put in a sword fight or something. This one doesn't even have a swordfish.
So, are we higher or lower?
That's what I'm asking
I don't
you.
I said higher.
Oh, you were wrong
Lower?
to go higher. It was a few
What?
points lower. But
It
what
was indeed.
about For Whom the Bell Tolls? That one's set in Spain.
Is it?
Martin, you're a natural at this. All right, I'm gonna go with higher.
Do not ask for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for books by Adrian. You were right to go higher. What about his Italian set First World War novel, A Farewell to Arms?
Well, if
Lower?
it's set in Italy versus Spain, then I'm gonna say lower, right?
Oh, Italian food is better than Spanish.
Questionable
food.
reasoning, but you were right to go lower. Now,
Yeah, that checks
one
out.
more. It all rests on whether A Movable Feast, his biography about his life in the 20s with other writers in Paris, is going to be higher or lower. Which way are you going to go?
Lower. That sounds even worse. Higher? What?
Oh no, what a colossal mistake.
Is that like the mistake on the cover? 'Cause I'm sure movable doesn't have an E in the middle.
Yeah, it does.
Malcolm, are you ready to play your library cards right? Or your
I
Tesco
am,
Club
yes.
card, maybe.
Wait a minute. Before we move on, did I win or lose? Like, what happened there?
You won.
You won because I
Once
can't
I get into it.
judgment.
You are, because
Unlike
everyone
that
wins in
old
this
man
game.
in the sea.
It's a
I'm
beautiful
not
game.
God. Malcolm, what a great book to start with. This postbox has a time help in it. Available now on Amazon for 99p. Run,
It's a
don't walk.
classic. It's not as good as Nightmare Tenant, apparently, but
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Now, next up, you have Isaac Asimov's Foundation, a book that Richard had never heard of when he wanted to name his book Foundation. Was it going to be higher or
A quick
lower?
call, please.
Malcolm, you have a choice of two words. You need to say them as a format point.
I think it's got to be lower because it must split too many people, surely.
You were right to go lower.
It's got quite high.
What nice graphics these are. Next up, Andy Weir's The Martian. Higher or lower?
Higher.
Ooh, higher. It's got to be higher. He's the man.
Yes, it is
Yeah.
higher.
Still not as high as a
4.40.
post box has a time hold in it.
Now, Dickie's favourite, June. Or Doom, as the Americans say. Higher or lower?
Oh, I feel like I'm on a roll. Lower.
Yeah, I rated it 1 star.
It is lower, 4.25.
You probably did me a favour there. Just put it all down.
Next,
I
I
helped
did
him
no
win.
such thing. Next up, Ready Player One.
Not Ready Player 2, is it? 'Cause-
Higher or lower?
I'm going to say lower.
You were right to go lower. It was 0.1 point lower.
By 0.1. Amazing.
Finally, your last one. It's Ender's Game. Higher or lower?
Ooh. Generally in a series, things because that is oh no, wait, that's not in a series. That's a completely different series, isn't it? Higher.
Yes, you were right to go higher. Malcolm
Flash or
seems to be
something.
wins, as does everyone, I guess.
And does Malcolm win a point?
Good one.
Yes.
Do I win an extra 10 minutes? That'd be nice.
No.
Yeah, that's all we have. We should be playing for more time. More time.
Right, now I've given you plenty of time. I hope someone has thought up a prompt.
Ah!
Are we not going with grannies?
Yeah, I thought we were going with grannies. I was already like resigned to
I've
that.
been going with grannies. I've only got the plot of Gangster Granny so far by David Walliams.
Oh, I wish I had thought of gangster grannies. Damn it. That's a good one.
Where's the spin boat?
Where are you hiding that?
Is it in the mystery box?
Okay, Dickie, let's wheel out the spinning wheel of genre.
Okay. Wow, okay.
Hannah, have you any preference for a genre? Or
It
any genre
depends what's on offer.
What's on?
I would be happy with any of those aside from romance.
So
I'd be less
change it to
happy.
romance.
Who wouldn't
you
want granny romance? The possibilities are...
Granny romance, you mean bromance?
Mm.
Okay, am I spinning the wheel yet?
You're spinning the wheel.
Hang on, but who am I spinning it for? I don't know
For
yet.
Hannah.
For me.
Oh, okay. Ooh, flash.
We spared no expense. Oh, it's a good thing Hannah won a second spin.
Haha! Did I? I'll take it.
Spin again.
Hang on. She gets to spin again.
Yeah.
Well, we're not deleting romance from the wheel, so there's no escape just yet.
Hannah Palmer with Granny Thriller.
Granny thrillers, brilliant.
Thrillers.
Thrilling grannies. Oh wait.
That's a romance plot, Hannah. That's a romance plot.
No.
Okay, who's next? I've forgotten.
I think I was second, wasn't I?
Okay, Adrian, you get to go next.
right.
Adrian, do you have any preferences?
Too late to
No, not
express it
really.
now.
I don't want to accidentally manifest it the way they handed it.
It is voice activated.
Historical.
Is historical
Historical
granny
grannies.
not just a normal aged person?
Yeah.
When I was young,
Are you going to keep it or are you going to spin again? Spin
that's fine.
again.
I'll
People
keep
who
it,
want you to
that's
spin again.
Plus, I've already deleted it, so you can't spin again.
Yeah, it's gone.
Okay, Malcolm, you're up to the spinning wheel of genre. Or as I
This
say
is
in France,
really good.
Henry.
Ha.
ooh. Granny romance. I think I'm going to spin again.
He's going to spin again. That is probably a wise choice.
Ooh.
That was close.
It was so close.
I don't know how to turn the sounds off, by the way.
I like
It's
it.
very normative.
Sounds
Having
good.
Chrome.
Thank you, Martin. Well, it is the Battle of the Beasts now. So, shall I take one for the team, Martin?
Well, you do what must be done. If any of you watching are author-tubers who get anything from ad revenue, you'll be interested to know that Richard here is using an ad blocker on his browser.
We
What?
missed most of that because of the music. What was it about?
Thank
what was
you.
it about, browser?
I know what he's talking about.
Oh, I think I see it. Yeah.
And once again, I am left with science fiction.
Oh, yeah, I might spin again, though.
You didn't win. You don't get a second spin.
I never win, according to you. So rude.
I thought there were no rules. Like, didn't we all win?
Well, I think, Martin, you need to spin just for the sake of it. You're going to get that line in the middle, you know that.
The real flash aha were the friends we made along the way. Hooray!
Oh, and the wheel has changed to something completely different.
Ooh, yes, no.
Do we want to continue with this, yes or no?
We could just have the wheel say higher or lower, and then we wouldn't need other people to play the card at all.
That's true.
Right, so everyone has been assigned a prompt and a genre. Do you feel ready to
I
do
don't know what
some
the prompt
writing?
is. Is it grannies?
Yes,
Granny.
it's all you know whose fault it is, don't you?
Thanks, Bethany.
Bethany Votar.
Can't believe with all these talented people in the chat, no one's just
She's-
in good.
She's an
prompts
agent
the word
of
grannies.
chaos.
She is a trooper. Now I've got to think of another. Hang on, I wrote granny romance last time.
We got historical grannies. All right. Let's see what we got. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Are we doing the 5 minutes of chat before we have to kind of write this thing?
Do people have ideas, or do people maybe need some help? Are you going with gangster grannies, Malcolm?
I might go with extreme grannies. Definitely, I think granny's got to be quite extreme.
Adrenaline junkie granny.
Yeah, maybe something.
Grannies
like that.
go wild?
Yeah, that's gonna be good.
Gran's gone wild. Nice.
Adrian, that's my
Hard
idea.
assassin granny.
Oh, excuse me.
This granny romance is going to be so hot, it's going to put them in their graves.
Nice. Martin, have you got a tumbleweed there anywhere?
I think I might,
Really?
but I don't quite know where to take it, which is usually how this works. And 90% of this is not having a clue and crying, and 10% is reading it out and being surprised it kind of worked. I never particularly had an interest in flash fiction, and suddenly I have my own show, and there we are.
That's how things go, man. You have no idea, and then there it is. I guess this is what we're doing. That's why I put live stream Sunday. I just started doing live streams on the only day of the week that I could, and then before I knew it, live stream Sunday was a thing. It was weird.
Richard, ready the timer.
What? I'm not your skivvy.
Well, you know where it is on StreamYards, which is weird.
Hang on, let me have a look. What?
What? There's a. Oh.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh no, I'm in the wrong theatre. Yeah. And where's the timer gone? Martin, I can't find the timer. Oh, there it is.
He's doing a bit.
Oh God.
10.
Oh, 2 seconds are gone already.
I know. Eating on my writing time.
Okay, are we ready? I can't
Apparently.
find the timer.
Apparently, we started.
Okay, on your marks, get set. Right. Ah!
Oh, didn't move. That's me.
We got another sprint later, right?
We do.
Okay, good, because I'm not done.
How did you do, Dickie? Did you get many words down?
I got 4.
Oh, jeez.
For the good words.
Hannah, were you higher or lower?
Not higher, thankfully. I got 145.
Adrian, what about you?
Higher. Let's see. 231.
Malcolm?
Higher. I got 264, but they're not 264 good words. So
It's
I've
not
gone for-
about
I've gone for
good
quantity
words,
over
it's about
quality.
fast words. I got 259.
Hey. How's the romance going for you, Richard?
Dreadfully.
Out of the
I'm,
four
I'm,
words,
try-
how many
I'm,
were
try- I'm,
pairs?
I'm trying to think what it is that old people do that is possibly romantic.
My grandparents used to do loads of romantic things. They used to
Yeah,
garden
man.
together,
Mine
which was
didn't.
cute.
My
Oh,
grandparents
people
hated each
that's
other.
adorable.
Wow, that's very sad. But just imagine that they loved each other. What would have they done? Walks in the park and I don't know, swingers parties. There's lots of stuff that grannies can get up to.
I could maybe work some of that in, Adrian, to the next sprint. I mean, I had this idea of an old woman being awoken early in the morning by a young man trimming her bush. Turns out he's the gardener.
Oh, good.
Where am I? What just happened?
You've broken Adrian. We're
Right.
going to have to go and host live stream Sunday now, and I can't stay up that late.
I just saw Hannah's face.
You guys are a trip. I'm out
I'm
of
tapping
water.
out.
Hannah's out.
No.
I don't quite think that's going to make it onto the page I've got here. Thankfully.
Oh. What about couples yoga, but with old people?
Ooh, and then she breaks a hip or something.
No,
There's the
she's
drama
already had
right
them
there.
replaced.
Well, no, the drama has to happen. That's how the hip gets replaced.
What about someone who has to get to a funeral on time, but there's a rail replacement bus?
Then she falls in love with the driver.
Of the bus. On the way to a funeral.
Are you saying rail replacement bus drivers don't deserve love?
Better than falling in love with the vicar as well. So
The vicar.
And then the plot twist is it's her husband's funeral.
Oh, that's not a plot twist.
Out with the
Ew.
old, in with the new, I always say.
Richard, do you know the song Pina Colada?
now I broke Richard.
I think I could work that one in actually.
Go for it, man.
Do you know the Pina Colada song? That was really old. They'll be elderly now. Just write that again.
There we go.
I think I might write that about the rail replacement bus. That could be quite interesting.
You have to write something. It's a format point.
They got that bus rocking down those country lanes somehow.
Look, we need to fill the time. We've got Adrian booked for another hour and 20 minutes. This is going to drag out if you don't stick to what we're supposed to be
I'm
doing.
out of here at 5. I'm a very important man. I got things to do, places to be.
Replacement buses to get.
Yeah.
Oh,
Adrian,
it's the kind of Adrian will never experience the horror that is a rail replacement bus. I mean, in England or Britain, there is no worse 3 words put together than rail replacement bus.
Sounds awful. I mean,
You
I used
get
to
the
live in
scenic
Buffalo, New
route.
York. There was a lot of buses. But,
Scenic route.
Are
love
you
Malcolm
including
Gladwell.
work to event in those words?
Huh?
Okay.
Who said
Sorry?
what now?
What?
It
What?
was topical.
Okay.
We're not going for a rewatch value here.
We're not going back. Only forward.
What's Hannah
Is
writing
anyone
again?
in the chat joining us writing? If so,
Yeah,
right,
let's
I
go.
am joining you writing in the comments. Am I
That's
doing
how we
it
know.
What is this?
Oh, that was stressful.
Here we go.
Time ticking down. Ah.
Oh, it's all going to happen again.
Okay. Well, now I know where I want this story to go.
I'm
It's a
glad you
very
joined
good-
us, Malcolm, but I'm going to be honest. It's not going to do your anxiety any good.
Did we tell him he's got to read his piece at the end?
No, not yet.
Oh, what?
It's all the mistyping as well. I have this. I'm a little bit kind of OCD with mistyping as I go along, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? I have to go back and correct things, which is just
That
eating
is
up
not
time
how this
constantly.
works.
Yeah, just
Martin,
keep
you
putting one word in front of the
dictating.
other, man.
Not this time.
That surprises me.
I'm full of surprises.
Oh, I'm going to put that in the story. Martin, the bus driver, is full of surprises.
I can't drive. You know this. I have to get lifts off Malcolm.
Okay. That's an even better plot twist.
You live far too far away for that sort of thing now.
Martin,
So-
say something.
I'm still writing. I'm
Fill this
still working on my
void.
thing.
I tell you what we could do, Martin, to fill this slide. We could do some riddles if you want.
Riddles. Oh.
No.
Hmm.
Is that happened before? Am I missing something here?
I'm being
Richard is
naughty.
making snide comments about other author-tubers, which is not really the done thing on a live stream.
Richard.
Oh, behave.
I'm not. I'm only repeating what Martin said to me.
Little gossip.
I'd like to propose a new live stream format in which basically we describe various British sitcoms from the 1970s to Adrian, and he has to guess which ones were real and which ones we just made up for a laugh.
I think I could join in. I don't know any from the 70s.
That sounds like a really good game, actually. The only thing I know from you guys is Luther and Doctor Who. So other than that, like,
That's all you need.
It does kind of come from the 70s. What Doctor Who does.
Yeah.
I mean, we could talk
Okay.
all day about that.
Real or imaginary? Mutiny on the buses. A bunch of sexist bus drivers get angry that they hire lady bus drivers, so they fill the buses with spiders.
that's 100% real. That's a real show.
That's the horror of it, is they could all be real.
Yeah.
Anything went in the 70s.
That happened only yesterday.
That was last Tuesday.
It's one of the many reasons those shows aren't repeated anymore.
Right, let's write some more words because this is weird.
And also, the more I say, the more trouble I'm going to get myself into.
I'm just glad I'm not the one hosting this weird ass stream.
This
No
usually
one
works
posting
quite
it.
well.
It just
I-
seems
I-
like a
I
lot
think
of pressure on you,
no
Martin. It
factor.
just seems like a lot of pressure on you figuring out what we're doing. I don't think anybody knows. It's fine. That's all right. Come to my show on Sunday. We'll have fun.
We live for the chaos.
Oh, this is great.
Okay, shall we do the second of 2 sprints?
All right. How long is the second one?
2 sprints.
10 minutes.
Another 10? You guys suck.
Yes.
I need 20 minutes at least. All right, fine. 10 minutes.
I can't work this way.
I know. This is just these conditions.
Okay, ready. Ah,
No, I need those seconds.
Stop robbing me of every second.
I've got to put the music on.
I remember to
No, you
mute this
don't.
time. I didn't mute myself last time initially.
It doesn't matter. We couldn't hear you over the music.
Yeah, that's true.
There's music.
There is. Groovy, royalty-free music.
Groovy is a choice word.
Uh-oh. Shots fired.
We all want to see me dad dance, don't we, at the end?
Oh, we saw it anyway.
Right. Martin, do you want to say the thing?
Start the clock.
Could do that
That's not the
yourself,
agreed
Richard.
catchphrase.
Higher or lower? It's a
What?
countdown timer. It's only going to go lower, Richard.
Go. We're losing time.
And that's time.
No.
I refuse.
Malcolm, I can tell why you're unbridled enthusiasm, but you're pleased with your completed narrative.
Instant classic.
I'll put something down.
So good.
Okay.
How did you get on, Hannah?
There is a bus in it, but it doesn't quite go where we thought it was going to go.
Fair. Yeah, I'm good. Pretty, I suppose, happy.
Okay.
Mine
The
features
Oscar
a low
goes
speed
to-
pursuit.
I think I lost everyone there for a sec. Sorry.
Yeah,
What did you say, Martin?
Mine featured a low speed pursuit.
Was it on like a mobility scooter?
You'll just have to wait and see. Richard, why
Well,
don't you explain what people do now?
Panic.
Perhaps they would send you what they've written so you can do the next bit.
Yes, dear. So people just send me what you've written so I can do the next bit.
All right, I'm gonna send it right.
Can you put your email address on the screen again?
Yeah, let's do that.
I can find the
And
banner.
if you're a Russian bot who needs somewhere to send your spam, find details below.
I haven't got my email address, but I got this.
Right.
I mean,
I don't know how to make a new banner. Oh, I'm so stressed.
you could just put it in the chat, couldn't you? Because you're a
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Has anyone in the audience written anything they want to send in? If not, don't worry about it.
Oh, there it is. For a second, I thought I lost mine. All right, here we go.
Deary me.
Oh, there it is.
Right, I need to do the thing. Oh, I'm so stressed.
Okay, mine is a link. I'm going to throw it in the private chat.
Google Docs. Oh,
come on, Richard,
yeah.
catch on.
What?
Have you been working remotely for like nearly 3 years and you don't know what that is?
I know it is, isn't it? As soon as I don't like it.
My story has like no structure at all. It's just I'm just babbling. Like, it's so weird to write short things. I tend to write longer things, and with plot and progression of story.
Oh, Martin sent his thing in. Okay, wonderful. Okay. Granny. Oh, Hannah sent a granny thriller in.
Is there a music video?
Mine should be away to you, I think.
Ooh. Martin.
You need some like hold music.
Well, Martin turned the music off during the second sprint.
Yes, because it was terrible. I mean, distracting.
All right.
Who have I got? Martin, Granny, packages, Bradley. I should have prepared in advance, but last time I did that, I forgot my own story.
All right, so I don't know.
Yes.
My live stream instincts are kicking over, and I feel like people need to talk. So, what's everybody been writing besides this weird flash fiction stuff today?
No.
Yes, yes. I'm taking over the show. Somebody needs to run this show.
We're not afraid to let things just.
Jared is
fall by the
losing his
wayside.
now with all the dead air time. Okay, he wants to kill every single one of us here.
Why don't I start singing?
Oh no! How about we talk about something relevant, like what we're all writing?
I give mine writing to Malcolm to do, so he can talk.
We're writing a sci-fi series, and we're editing the first book at the moment. Well, we're sort of kind of going over a final before beta readers type edit, aren't we, of the first book? And Martin keeps giving me more to do. I had this list. He went through it. And he made lots of great comments and did a great job of pointing out stuff for me to do. And then every time we talk, he keeps adding more things to it. And so yeah, but yeah, no, it's going well. No? I think I enjoy editing. I think it's a really good part of the process where you just make this thing that was kind of rubbish kind of all right. So, well, do you know what I mean? I didn't mean it like that. But do you know what I mean? You just
make it all right.
So Malcolm, would I be right in understanding that your role in this whole thing is to polish the turd that Martin gives you through editing?
No, I mean Martin's first drafting, and he's like he'd say he does it fabulously quickly, particularly because he can dictate sort of thing. But then yeah, I'm sort of editing, but it's kind of back and forth, really, isn't it? I mean, so yeah, Martin's also doing the majority of the plotting, so blame him for that.
I will.
Not credit him,
but,
blame him.
but no, it's fun. I think it's different working the way we're working and working with someone you know so well as well, because I ghostwrite a lot, and so I'm usually working for a client, and a client, a work relationship is quite easy to define and easy to know your boundaries, and you're always working with something that's kind of still a little bit emotionally charged, a bit creative. You can still have disagreements with clients, but I think when it's sort of someone who's been a friend for years and years, as Martin has, then I don't know, we feel more free to shout at each other when we disagree a bit, don't we? Really? So, or argue passionately.
When it's someone you've been friends with for years and years, it's that much more of a betrayal when they take out your final space battle.
Well, yeah, but like I also took the disliking of my cat POV. Not, what was that about? So
you haven't even remembered you'd put a scene from the point of view of the cat.
No, I forget most of it.
Generally, isn't a done thing in space opera.
Until now,
exactly. We've got to sit down.
Two roads in. How are things going with 2 roads in?
Well, it won't be called that. Moving away from the road theme, I think. But yeah, it's all right. It's going to be like same world, different characters. So.
Ooh. The same island.
Yes. Yep. Suitably vague because I don't know what I'm doing either.
And what have you been writing, Adrian? Since you insisted we talk about it.
Oh, I mean, we are writers, aren't we? Yeah. No, I've been editing my novel. I've got a deadline for March 1st to get the second draft out to critique partners. So we'll see if I make that. And I'm also writing a course for my website on how to get out of your own way and finish the first draft already. So I've been working on that. And prepping up for Livestream Sunday and everything going on over there. Just creating videos and animations and all kinds of good stuff like that.
We love a good bit of graphics here.
It's common.
If anyone watching is interested
We
in
didn't
being
see what I would
a
write.
reader, then make yourself known.
To read for everybody?
I just want to brag, by the way.
Okay.
I have had the most productive writing month, I think, ever. I've started drafting.
Congratulations on deciding to take part in Millwordy.
Oh, I have more sense than that.
Is anyone still doing that?
Only masochists, I think. I've written 31,900 words in the last 28 days, which for me, I can guarantee virtually none of them are any good, but hey ho.
No, dude,
I mean, I'm glad it's working for you.
Finish it.
And if you want to find out what I'm writing these words towards, you need to sign up to my newsletter.
I'm glad it's working for you, but it kind of sounds like toxic productivity to me.
Toxic productivity.
I mean, I'm not just doing it.
Whenever
publicly.
people talk about how many words they've written, Richard cries about toxic productivity and how people are encouraged to write too many words until they cry.
That is a gross oversimplification of my argument, Martin, and you know it. The whole toxic productivity thing is, I don't like to be too braggadocious about what I'm doing. I just like to kind of get on with the job, so to speak. So, but I'm quite pleased. I'm enjoying this kind of accelerated pace like down, and all of this is kind of in part thanks to Martin's excellent story sheets method. I've kind of been a big convert to doing my outlining in a spreadsheet. It's nirvana for me.
I really should get on the ADRIAN bandwagon and get a online course together that I can charge lots of money for.
And I mean, I'm not gonna get like too detailed with it or whatever as here today, but I was talking to my partner yesterday about like where we're going with the pricing and everything, and I had no idea that we were there with the pricing. And I'm like, dude, like who's gonna pay for that? He's like, the money that we're gonna be spending on advertising and everything, we gotta make all that shit back. So I come with the quality in the, and then he's gonna come with the quality production, and we have to make the money we're gonna be charging for it. It's bananas. It's all like, oh.
Malcolm, new business plan, online courses, get writing.
I saw yesterday something about, I've never heard of this before, but about publishing on KDP by essentially making notebooks or something. You just kind of, you create a bunch of blank pages and then you just kind of make a cover, whatever sort of design and just chuck it out on KDP, and you can do it in, well, if you're good, you probably do it in 20 minutes,
That's not a bad little side hustle. That's
I like the idea of that.
Yeah,
I think they're starting to crack down on it now, because there's a lot of like hucksters popping up on Facebook ads being like, "Oh, here's how you get rich without writing a book."
Yeah,
I hate the adverts.
Yeah, I don't think that's good. It's a bit like the whole celebrity vlogger books, where it's just like a load of blank pages for you to fill in.
there's those folks that
just
like
print on demand, and
all they do is they make the music videos for YouTube, where you can like put it on and it's just background music to write to or whatever. Like those run for like 4 hours or whatever it is, and it's just money, man. It's advertising money.
I have to say, this is one of the things, especially one of what I saw on Amateur, really angered me. To be honest, I saw this thing. It was called a summary of Andy Weir's Project Hail Mary, and they're selling it on Kindle for $3.63. It's literally the plot of Project Hail Mary boiled down to 23 pages, and someone is literally paying for that.
They're
surprised
selling
they're
a
allowed to
summary.
do that.
They're selling a summary of another book.
Yeah, and if you go to their author page on Amazon, they've got bloody loads of them. Like,
Well, that's not depressing at all.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't know how I feel about no.
No, I know how I feel about that.
Yeah,
I'm getting bad chi from there. Bad chi.
With the low content stuff like the notebooks, I kind of get where people are going with it, because it's just like making stuff on Redbubble. I don't think that KDP it's obviously not designed for that, so that's why they're cracking down. But there are places on the internet where you can do that. So,
Richard, have you received all the flash to read out? Because we've been vamping for quite some
Oh,
time.
yes. Oh, hang on. Yes, good.
Oh, we're waiting on
Oh,
Richard.
man,
Adrian.
Adrian's never coming back.
I've got Adrian, I've got Hannah's, we've got many of us for Adrian, they've got Martin.
I've just got an email saying that the stream Sunday with the Britpack's been cancelled.
Yep, just now I just sent it.
that because of me?
No, man, that's gonna be a great episode, man, and it's in a really good spot in the lineup. I think there's gonna be a lot of eyes on.
You should be on millions of subscribers by then, shouldn't you?
Millions, bro. Like even
And
even
if
my
Malcolm
biggest guest
gets
doesn't have
his
millions.
butt in gear, we might even have a book out to mention.
Always
No
waiting.
pressure.
I am very slow. This is why this terrified me tonight.
I'll be getting the flash up very soon. I've lost my mouse cursor.
Richard, are you okay, buddy?
I think we all know the answer to that. Fine. Hang on.
Why did I make him a mod?
Because I should be over with bots.
You know, I'm gonna go ahead and brag right now that when I do this, I do everything. I don't have a site doing stuff for me. This is nice.
Neither do I, evidently.
Martin. I was gonna say Martin spoiled, apparently not.
Can we all see this? Shall I zoom in a bit? I'll dig in it.
There you go. There you go.
You indented your speech and everything. It looks really nice.
It's a tab. It's one button.
Hang on.
Tab.
I didn't know formatting at all.
Me neither, don't worry.
I put it at the top too. All right, I'm not reading it. Somebody else has to read it. Yeah, somebody else has to read it.
Yes, you were supposed to read it, Adrian.
I'm not doing it.
This has never happened before.
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna refuse. I'm just gonna go ahead and put my foot down.
Okay. I mean, it's not that Adrian's not coming back on his choice. It's our choice now.
Yeah.
It has to be said that if someone decides not to read, that's fine, but we will just sit here in silence for the
No,
duration.
okay, I'll read. Fine, I'll read it. Okay.
You could do it in really funny voices.
That's my problem. That's why I don't want to read it. There's a grandmother and a child in here. I have to do funny voices. I don't want to.
This is why
Why don't we do a wheel where we pick who reads what?
That'll be nice. Let's do
like a table read. Yeah.
Would you like Richard to read it?
I will read it for Adrian. I'm happy to read it.
Yay!
It just means Adrian has to read mine.
And
Fair enough.
now on Flash Aha, Books by Adrian, read by Books by Richard.
Okay. Penelope was bored. She sat in the corner of her grandmother's bookshop, fiddling with the ribbons on her dress, swinging her feet under her chair. Penny, dear, her grandmother's voice was full of concern. What are you doing? Nothing, Nana. Why? I'm bored. You're surrounded by books, child. I read them all. No, you haven't. All the good ones I have. Nana made a face from behind the counter. Having accepted Penelope's challenge, Nana made her way onto the floor and across to the non-fiction aisles. She returned to Penelope shortly after with a large, dusty hardcover, which she dropped in on the table in front of her granddaughter. Just going to correct that spelling there. There we go. A cloud of dust puffed up into the air, and Penelope coughed. What's all this then, Nana? Penelope asked, thanks to that summer spent in London. A good book, one you haven't read yet. With that, Nana walked off to count the till. Penelope read the front cover. Historical grandmothers? It was once a shout and a question. That's right, youngin. Youngin? Nana shouted back. Get reading. I'm going to ask you later about all my favourite grandmothers. Penelope made a face. Silly Nana, she thought still. Historical grandmothers? What did that even mean? Penelope opened the enormous book, past the acknowledgements and table of contents to the first page of the first chapter. And she read, George Washington's vampire grandmother. Wait, what now? Penelope flipped the pages to the next chapter. Genghis Khan's conqueror grandmother. Nana, what is this book? You need to learn your history, Penny. Go on. Penelope flipped from chapter to chapter until she found one that caught her eye. The curious case of Nikola Tesla's alien grandmother. She had to read this one. Tesla's grandmother, Zorchak, 37 was an alien from the planet Gershu who came to Earth to mate with a human, giving them Nikolai's mother, whom the Gershu people foretold would bring the Messiah to the humans. Little did she know that Edison's grandmother was a rival from the planet Pergu, was it? Yeah, and had given her grandson connections on Earth that would make him Tesla's foil. Nana, this book is nonsense. The world is nonsense, child. Best get used to it. But why was this in the non-fiction section? This isn't true. Of course it is. What are you talking about, Penny? Tesla's alien grandmother? Give me a break. Nana slammed her pen onto the table, hung her head and sighed. She came out from behind the counter and made her way over to Penny. My child, your ignorance is appetizing. What? At that moment, Nana unzipped her skin suit to reveal a lizard form underneath. She unhinged her jaw and swallowed Penelope whole.
Yay!
And the timer was up.
So Nana is the queen.
It's the dumbest thing I've ever written. I've never
It's
written
the
anything
best
so dumb.
thing you've ever written. And I've read other things you've written.
How dare you?
I love
Hey,
it.
are we going to book me for the whole audiobook?
What's that?
Am I going to do the whole audiobook of this?
Yeah, I'll finish it and you can do the audiobook. I love it.
I have to say, listening to Richard read that, it was just like Colin Clark, with the exception of the narration abilities.
Hang on, is that good or bad?
Oh, it depends whether or not you're Colin Clark. What a fun story. Who's next?
That depends on who's on the next page. It is Hannah Palmer.
Look at my formatting compared to yours.
I'd
It's about
love to.
formatting.
I'd love to put that in like a movie trailer font and just animate Granny Thriller in a world.
That's an option. Cool. Shall I go? Shall I
Yes,
go with the thing?
In your own time.
Okay. Granny Thriller. Bone-knotted fingers like the reaching branches of century-old trees scratched around in the bottom of the satchel. Worn leather, tarnished silver hardware, pearly nails scented with lavender and talcum powder. She knew she'd left it in there somewhere. There's no way she'd have taken it out. Somewhere deep in the bottom of the ever-expanding Cambridge satchel swallowed in the bottomless pits. Her weathered fingertips brushed past her purse. It had been empty for so long that the sensation of it bursting with notes sent a shiver down her 78-year-old spine. Never before had she seen that much money. Never before had she had it in her possession. She nudged the purse aside, digging her arm even deeper into the bag, the great gaping mouth of leather swallowing almost up to her armpit. There you are, she whispered, her hands closing around the cold metal handle. She lifted it out from the bag, the once shining silver of the blade now coated with dark red flakes. Without her glasses, it looked nothing more than an oil painter's utensil, covered in old dry pigment. But the cold steel vibrated with the energy of what she'd done to protect herself, and what she'd taken in order to continue living.
Lovely prose. Very
I have to
nice.
say that was. I could read pages and pages of that.
Formatting my
to read
ass. That's what I
pages and
said.
pages, check out.
There's no grannies in that one, though.
Okay. It's a good story.
You are now disqualified. I'm sorry.
Hang on, am I disqualified? You can't disqualify me.
We haven't heard yours yet.
Okay, yes, dear. Right. That was very good, Hannah. Well done. You know.
Thank you.
Martin.
Hey, it's that guy I am.
You're not allowed to drink. Never.
Granny Ethel sat in the waiting room whilst her ungrateful children discussed the procedure in the doctor's office. At 102, she was more than capable of making these decisions on her own. The fact she had no idea what answer she was going to give did not mean she was incapable, just unwilling. It had been several weeks since Kevin, the oldest of her offspring, who, although she didn't let on, she still thought of as the painful one, had given her the pamphlet entitled Why You Want to Become a Brain in the Jar. It's not just a tax write-off. She liked the way her back wouldn't ache, but she wasn't taken by the fact she would just be a brain in a jar, especially since all those rumours had started about getting put in a drone and to fly around all day were not true, and instead being used to power those self-service checkout machines in supermarkets. Ethel would hate that, even if she could amuse herself for a whole afternoon by falsely declaring there was an unexpected item in the bagging area when there wasn't. Nah, heavens to Betsy. Ethel was an old-fashioned broad who was not taken by newfangled things like being a brain in a jar. She legged it. The 3 minutes 40 seconds it took her to grab her Zimmer and head out the front door would not have been nearly enough time if people actually paid attention to the elderly in society, or, it seems, waiting rooms. Outside, she found Mary from the Thursday coffee mornings had just pulled up on her electric mobility scooter. "Oh, hello, Ethel," said Mary enthusiastically. "I've got a meeting about being a brainiac or something." "Look over there," cried Ethel. "An interracial couple," and pointed her walking stick down the street. Mary had no problem with such things, but was easily distracted by a pointed stick, and quickly made a forceful impact against the side of her head, sending her tumbling. "Sorry, lovely, but it had to be done," Ethel explained, climbing on the mobility scooter and revving the throttle before realizing the throttle didn't work like that on these things, and she pressed the big green go button. She started down the street where she tried to lose herself in a crowd. The crowd parted. Ethel cursed at young people who had somehow gained respect for their elders. She reached into Mary's handbag, still dangling from the handlebar, and found one of those smoky vape things. She hit the go button and lit it up. She tried to blow a smoke ring back at her rapidly gaining pursuers, but it turns out vapes don't work like that. Shame, Ethel used to be good at smoke rings. It was a noble effort, but it didn't do the job. Ethel supposed she didn't mind being a brain in a jar, except when it was an unexpected item in the bagging area.
Oh, I cut that line off.
Mm-hmm.
Sabotage.
That was good fun. That was good fun.
Really good. Yeah.
Thank you.
I have a question. Why was Ethel a parrot?
I believe that great art speaks for itself and is for the reader to interpret. This is right. This is right.
When you said she liked it, I cracked up, bro. Like that was just too much for me.
No, I think this was a very classically marked in piece. There's lots of sort of British witticisms and whimsy that I do enjoy about Martin's work.
It's lovely.
I think you hide beneath that whimsy quite a horrifying kind of dystopian future. So yeah, well done.
Yeah. Like brains in a jar.
Gotta love brains in a jar.
So who is next? I wonder. It is our new guest,
Malcolm,
who should be on his own page. There we go.
Yes. Granny G had to get up early this morning. Since retirement, she'd been getting slow and soft. She headed to her closet once she was dressed and opened a secret compartment at the back to reveal the weapons that she had managed to keep for herself during 40 years of secret work for MI6. It was amazing how the quartermaster didn't always do a great job of checking what you handed back, especially when you bought him a $50 bottle of champagne every Christmas. Today, she was going to do something about Alfred Flack, the 80-year-old opposite, who had been stealing her milk on a regular basis since she had moved into her apartment. She browsed her choices. The Magnum was a good choice, although a little loud. She could shove him back into his apartment and roll in a grenade after him. That filled her with warm, happy thoughts. No, she was going to have to be a bit more subtle about it. Dart gun, that was it. She went back and forth between the knockout darts and the more lethal poisons in her repertoire. Eventually, that soft part of her that had been getting ever worse over the years won out, and she loaded up the dart gun. Maybe a little torture once he awoke. Hearing Alfred's door go opposite, she quickly made her way to her own front door, moving as lithely as she could with the new hip that she had only gotten about a year ago. Eye up against the door, she cocked her weapon and quickly pulled the door open. "Ha! Caught you, you thieving bastard!" she cried, firing indiscriminately in a distinctly unprofessional manner. She was so glad that her old unit couldn't see her now. There was, however, a problem. Alfred was not leaning over as she expected, his round backside presenting a healthy target as it was supposed to. He was, instead, stood up in front of her and, for some reason, holding a bunch of flowers. All of her shots had gone into his middle section, one of them, as you might say, striking the eagle. Alfred, wide-eyed, held out the flowers. "I bought these for you," he wheezed. He held out the other hand, which had a large full-pint bottle of milk in it. "And I got some milk. I know I'm always borrowing yours." And with that, he collapsed. Granny, came a high-pitched little voice from further along the corridor. Oh no! Was this the day the family would go visiting? It was hard to keep a track of which days of the week it was. Yes, there was little Timmy. Thwap! Down went little Timmy. Oh, there was her daughter, Jen. Thwap! It was at least the 20th time she'd tranked Jen. That was usually how she got her to sleep as a child. And there was Mike, her annoying husband. Thwack, 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 click, click. Damn it, she was out of darts. A few moments later, Granny G was on the phone to her old quartermaster. "Listen, Jimmy, how many of those are memory erasing pills? How are those memory erasing pills of yours coming along?"
Yay!
That was good.
Really good. That was funny.
I can kind of see where the writing style kind of pairs up with Martin's. In terms of the kind of,
Yeah, you can see with share a sense
Certain
of
amount
humour
of
with it.
Douglas Adams going on there.
I wasn't reading along with you. I was just listening. So when you were going thwack thwack, it just sounded like you were dropping F-bomb after F-bomb, and I was like, "Wait a minute, what's happening here?" Just completely threw me off. And thwack. Okay, got it.
That is usually how Malcolm talks, to be fair.
Yeah. It's all expletives usually.
That's so funny. Uh-oh.
I suppose we better round this reading session out with some very, downbeat romance. I just want to kind of preface this by saying I'm not a romance writer. This was written in a blind panic in the last sprint.
This was all of these.
I'm making the excuses in advance.
Mm-hmm.
It's the way to do it.
Adrian, you get to read this.
I
So
sure do.
I apologize in advance.
Okay, it's gonna get dirty. I can already tell. All right, here we go.
What?
Excuse me. All right, running down the street, Rita heaved. Not only was it pouring with rain, her ancient mini metro had decided to give up the ghost. Why her erstwhile daughter Cheryl couldn't pick her up for this most important things was anyone's guess. Didn't want to be late for Evan's big day. It had only seemed like a few days since his pacemaker had given up the ghost, but it was the broken heart that had killed him. It was her fault, really, but she'd make up for that. Running down the street, her umbrella caught in the wind. It tugged at the fragile brolly, pulling the canopy aside, out of the way into the bushes. "Shitting Nora," she said. The clouds, pregnant with the impending deluge, rumbled with the stomach of an unfed cat. Or even after he had been on the Guinness. Poor love. Eventually, the provincial bus had roared down the lane beside the cottage. When they were younger, this cottage was picture postcard. Chocolate box looks. Now it looked as if it was smeared in chocolate, or more precisely, the filth of the bypass that had dissected it. The bus slowed to a whimpering stop, then hissed with some kind of air. It wheezed. The door clattered. "Station, please," Brenda said. The driver, a grizzled fellow with a rotund frame that touched the bottom edge of the steering wheel, edged her on. The bus launched as she rocketed up the stairs to the top deck. The stairs, covered with worn vinyl, were greasy with rainwater and the mulch of leaves. But she made it. just before the bus stopped again. Finally, she was able to reach the seat always shared with Evan on their usual excursions. "Excuse me," she said, "that's my seat." The man in the seat, second from the front on the left, gave her a look. "Your seat? I'm sorry, Are you okay?" The bus heaved into motion once again. "Sorry," she said. Are you okay?" the man said. He wore loose jeans and a polo neck and looked only 50. To Rita's withered features, looked a generation younger. "Going anywhere?" "My husband's funeral, but it's all gone wrong," she said. "Sit down," the man said. "Why are you getting the bus to something so important?" "Ha," Rita laughed. It was a good question. She'd tolerated Evan for the first 3 decades, rewarding him with children that paid her no heed. Once they'd left, she'd grown to hate him. Her only regret wasn't wasting her life on him, but rather into the comfort zone of not leaving earlier for fresher pastures. I want more. Keep it going.
That was me going splat, throwing ideas at the wall.
Yeah.
Rita turned to Brenda.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that. If I had longer, that could have actually gone somewhere, but I didn't, so I didn't.
I loved it.
I kind of like the kind of recurring thing of as people seem to get older, they just learn to hate whoever they're living with.
A future to look forward to.
I read something somewhere that said that every 7 years you go through cycles of love with your partner. So you're in love for 7 years, and then
is that the 7-year itch?
7 years. Yeah, the 7-year itch, I guess, is the expression. Yeah, and then 7 years later you're in love again. You just gotta wait it out.
Oh, I'm counting. I'm trying to count back now.
When did I get married? Yeah.
See, this is kind of why I like this kind of format. It's a good forum to just kind of throw ideas at the wall.
Oh, sure.
That's my excuse for writing shoddy fiction every month.
I liked it
good,
because I thought it was just going to be silly, but then it was kind of touching.
Yeah.
And it became kind of creepy at the end. A bit
Oh, I
touching.
think it was creepy.
There's a fine line, probably.
My granny ate a kid, so
I kind of feel that if I had more time, I could probably develop that into something quite good. Who's to say?
Who's to say?
Richard Holliday, the romance author.
Giggity.
Well, we all know what my romance name would be. My romance pen name. It would be Regina Hertz.
Oh. Even though your name shortened is Dick.
I think Dick Hertz then.
That's way worse.
She nailed it.
Okay. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
She's got a sense of humour. I mean, I kind of misread that comment as she scratched her husband's back for their 70.
That's all you're getting.
That's all you get. Get out of here.
Oh, dear.
I mean, it's
Martin,
better
say
than
something funny.
Yeah, go.
Go.
I think what really works about flash fiction is it can go in ways you just don't see coming. And even though you're sitting there in terror at what you're going to manage, you can find you write some of the things that you are, in fact, most proud of. Discuss.
I actually think you're right, because there are some lines in there that I'm actually really proud of. The clouds pregnant with the impending deluge. I thought
It's not bad.
it's not a bad simile, is it?
No.
I mean, you're not wrong, but you're also not being very humble, and that's not very becoming.
Not very British of you, Richard.
Listen, I've got to be my own biggest
It's actually
fan. That's
very
why I'm learning
American of you. Yeah.
I like it.
Hi,
You're a
Tina.
biggest fan.
Yeah, how you? Malcolm,
Thanks for
will you
popping
ever
in.
write a flash again?
I will. I did enjoy it. I think there's something sort of enjoying about the adrenaline of utter panic, isn't there? Really. So, yeah, it was. I think you
regular.
Have I been usurped now?
No, I do think. You've got to write. I think maybe differently, which is always refreshing. Do you know what I mean? I think I could imagine writing something in this format and then coming back to it later and going, oh, I could use that character, or I could use that situation, and taking it further. Definitely, yeah. Because I think the last time I had to write with that sort of panic was, trying to hand in, uni sort of uni dissertations and things like that. Do you know what I mean? Like all-nighters or something in that kind of state of panic. Otherwise, you don't normally do that. Otherwise, I'm usually more organised nowadays.
I have to say, one thing I thought was useful was the mid-sprint chat, because that really helped me kind of form an idea. And
brains going, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And this is one thing I think is really helpful as writing. Is not. I used to be very much I'm just going to bury myself in the room, not tell anyone. But actually, I love the whole collaboration and just bouncing ideas off my contemporaries and my peers. It's really helpful. I used to think, as a writer, you have to think of everything yourself. But no, actually, being around this sort of community of people who are really helpful and they just kind of vibe off each other is really good. So that really helped. I mean, considering at the end of the first sprint, I looked at 4 words. I had the title. I was like, ah. And I managed to pull something together in 10 minutes. So I'm not unhappy, and yeah, it's an experience, and it's a learning experience too.
I think it's an important thing to remember. Even if you're working on like a novel series, you still have those days where you sit down and you just think, I haven't got to do what I'm going to write, and then just to be able to do something and 10 minutes later there's a story. It just reminds you that you can always come up with something.
That's what I like it for. Yeah. And if you're working on a longer project, I think sometimes you lose sight of the end goal. I quite like breaking it up with flash and short stuff because it reminds you that you can actually finish something.
Have you written a lot of short stuff, or have you mainly been epic in your scope?
Yeah, I don't really do short stories unless I'm told to by Bethany. Or
he does that a lot.
Yeah. No, I don't really. Should do.
I think it's literally a good exercise, isn't it? Just a good go for like a little literary or writing jog, just to get the old juices flowing. So yeah, that's good fun.
See, the only other times that I've ever written any flash fiction were the couple of times that I've been on Ken Sean's channel doing Don't Live, and
so that's an experience.
Those, yeah, I love it. And on those, I outline my flash fiction before I would write a line, a flow, like a plot, and then I would write it on the second sprint. And I got yelled at for doing that fiction. So
I kind of wish I'd done that on the first sprint. I spent 10 minutes thinking,
that's what I do on the first sprint on Ken's, or what I used to do is that. And then on this one I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna try it the real way and just write from the, and then it was nonsense. So there you go.
I mean, there's no real way and not real way. You work in whatever way you want to work. I mean, if it had been really me, I could have spent the whole of the first sprint firing up Excel and trying to.
Yeah.
Excel comes nowhere near my creative writing journey.
Martin.
Our host.
It's your channel, Martin.
It's mine now. I'm taking over.
This is the takeover. Adrian wins.
You've got some buttons there, haven't you, Adrian?
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and add a. Let me see. What do I got? I got an animation somewhere. No, he's still. Get out of here.
We know what he wants.
Forced his way back in.
All right. Here we go.
Think you're funny, don't you, Dickie? You can't kick me out.
Dickie.
I didn't kick you out. You kicked yourself out.
I clicked on a bloody link at the top of my browser. Yeah, I find it interesting because this is the only time that I don't outline and just fly by the seat of my trousers, as they say.
I should have felt better about this as a natural pantser.
Exactly.
Oh, I used to be a pantser, but then
Such an anomaly.
Again, the experience for me was writing Nightmare 10. I managed to write that book in 6 months, which for me is good, and I wouldn't have done that without an outline. So I am now praying to the god of outlining, like this. I don't know.
Adrian, are you doing a reader magnet for your book?
Ooh.
I am considering it. I haven't worked on it yet, but once I send the second draft off to critique partners and stuff, I'm either gonna dive into the second book or I'm gonna maybe write like a short story collection to use as a reader magnet. I don't know yet.
That's
We'll
my
see.
next on my to-do list.
Hmm. Yeah.
Malcolm sent me away to. I'm like, Malcolm, let's go on a canal boat holiday and outline the rest of the series. And he was like, no, go and do a bloody reader magnet.
Working magic on your own.
It's the hip thing now, right? It's like if you're coming out with a novel, first you got to come out with a reader magnet people to pick. So
I had to find the reader magnet for me was really hard because I did a prequel to my book, so that was doubly hard to write. But that was good fun. I'm really proud of it. So I managed to pull something out of the hat, which for every time I finish a project, I'm like somehow amazed at myself that I've managed to do it.
I asked him about 6 months ago which one I should read first, and I still haven't had an answer.
Well, actually, as you say that, you can actually read these in either order.
People like direction.
Okay.
Although I
like giving people a choice.
Publication order for anything ever.
I mean, technically, this is Nightmare Tenant 0.5, so you could start here, I suppose. Also, I've never written a sequel
going to be
before.
numbered. Start here, finish here.
I mean, if you want, Adrian, I can literally get a marker pen and put 1.
There you go.
2.
Yeah. And people are still going to skip my prologue, so it doesn't matter anyway.
No.
Oh, I love a prologue. I'll read
If you
a
skip
prologue.
a
I
prologue,
love
you're
a
a
prologue.
monster.
People skip monsters.
Either has a good question here. Do reader magnets pull in new readers or give authors some to post or add to newsletters? I would say
All of the
yes.
above.
Both. Yeah.
All of it.
Both.
I think there's an expectation of something free, isn't there? I think if you want to.
Richard's had
self-publish
a lot of
as well.
success building his newsletter with his magnet. I mean, I say a lot, moderate, like not nothing.
I'm happy with moderate. You know.
Okay, you heard it here first. Richard's a moderate.
I think the thing is, for my newsletter, I didn't want to start advertising my newsletter to get subscribers without having a carrot to dangle in front of the reader, which is why I did the reader magnet. And that's been pretty successful, to be honest. I would say, you know, I'm grateful to anyone who downloads it, and you know, if anyone actually clicks on my advert and downloads it. But Martin, you're not allowed to click on my adverts. It costs me money.
Stop wasting my money.
I think a lot of the reader magnet thing is when you see opportunities to promote a book, it's often for free books. So the option is either give your book away for free or have something that's free that you can give to draw attention to your not free book. And if you're the sort of writer who has, say, less than 2 books, then giving that away for free isn't necessarily the right choice for you.
And I think it depends on what you're writing as reader magnet, right? Because if it's just a unrelated story that has nothing to do with the other books that you're writing, then just a free thing that you can give out to give a sense of how you write. But if I was to do a reader magnet, I would want to tie it into the world that I've created for my novels. I want to get people interested in that world and want them to want more of it, so that they'll buy the book when the book comes out. You know, like this one's free, but you want more, you got to shell out. You know.
Yeah.
SD Houston has a really good self-publishing podcast that goes into all this sort of stuff, which is a much better resource than the last 15 minutes of a 2-hour flash fiction stream.
And I'm on it this time.
So yeah, you might want to skip that one, but
I think that's a good point though about you know,
yeah,
you might
skipping it is a very good point.
You might as well use a reader magnet to kind of build your world, to, you know, and particularly I think because I think if you put too much world building sometimes in a book, then you're slowing the narrative down, whereas, you know, there's a chance, isn't it, somewhere else to kind of introduce your world and that. I think the thing we were worrying about, Martin, there was not giving away things, weren't we, that might be important later on.
Well, we're writing about we were writing about a side character before the first book, and it's like, wait, but if I'm writing him then, he'd know A, and if he knows A, the reader will know A whilst they're reading book one if they start with this, and that destroys any tension, so he can't know A, ergo this can't be about that.
Right.
If you guys all sit down and read my manuscript and tell you what that means, and we can have a proper discussion, but if you're not willing to do this, I'm going to have to be vague. I'm sorry.
There are other ways you can get people to sign up. It's just what kind of game you want to play.
I just don't have that kind of money.
My thoughts on this comment from Eva, I was thinking about it this week, and I think prologues are actually really important because prologues are what you can read in the bookshop when you're actually browsing for books.
I'm agreeing with just Eva here, definitely about that. You know,
yeah, no, definitely.
Blurb, cover, I'm sold.
Yeah.
I mean, the blurb or the synopsis is so sort of pivotal, and it's so hard to get right. I find writing blurbs really difficult without assuming that kind of very pretentious "in a world where" voice, which it is difficult.
I
think
played out cliche.
Brian Cohen's in the Sizzling Synopsis book as a really good tips for that, so I would check that out.
That's funny. You usually get really angry when anyone mentions Brian Cohen's synopsis book.
Do I?
So it doesn't work.
It depends on how you read it.
Oh, Russian bot, kill it.
What? Right, death.
System 19 lol online. Go.
I'm the only mod, so I have to do this.
Why do we jump on them?
Oh no, I clicked the wrong button. I've made them a mod.
You made the bot a mod?
Now the bot has all the power.
What a terrible thing to do.
And it's going to write some flash fiction.
Ill-advised.
In Russian.
Eva's got another good point here.
They say not to ask questions in blurbs, but I don't make questions as blurbs. It doesn't have to.
I think the important thing about a blurb is
definitely
not
has a
to
question
give away
in
the
there.
plot. Because I've seen some blurbs that purport to be based on the Brian Cohen method that have just literally, they tell you too much. It's like, well, I'm not going to want to read the book now.
Yeah. Dude, like when the blurb is like, first this happens, and then they discover this, but when they discover this other thing, things really heat. I'm like, what?
It's like comedy trailers that give you all the all the best jokes.
Yeah, all the jokes, or you know, like superhero movies that show you all the fight scenes or whatever it is. It's just like, why am I going to watch it? It's already in there. I already saw the trailer.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
I think the first sort of
it's a fine line. You
couple...
gotta dance that line.
I think probably the first couple of chapters are so important now with Amazon and that, because you know a lot of people read the sample and it's just really killing that first chapter or two. So.
And I think it's important on that for a reader magnet, you shouldn't use the sample as a reader magnet. The reader magnet should be a full story in its own right.
To show people what you can do as a writer.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know if you're even allowed to, if you publish something on Amazon, exclusively on Amazon, I don't think you can even give your first couple of chapters away as a reader magnet. It's against the terms of service.
Depends if you sign up for, was it KDP Select?
No.
Yeah, it depends if you exclusively publish on Amazon.
Yeah.
Now, Richard, in response to that point, though, I do feel like there's an exception. It's like one of the things that I did in my novel, my prologue, is following the characters who are the murder victims, you know, of this murder mystery that you're reading. So, like, first chapter, proper chapter, you realize, oh, the people I was following in the prologue are the murder victims, and the case begins here. But because I was doing that, I had to give the point of view character in the prologue an entire arc. You know, like she's gonna die before you see her again. Like she's done. So I had to give her an entire arc in that prologue. So, I mean, it's an 8,000 word prologue. You know what I mean? It's a short story in some ways.
It's a beast of a prologue.
Yeah, it is. It's a beast of a prologue.
And it's a good prologue.
But full story. It tells a full story, you know. Mark.
What genre do you write, Adrian?
Is a fantasy world, and with it'll just get more and more like epic sci-fi as we
Cool. I think I got that.
Yeah. There's romance in there. There's a little, touch of horror. There's a little bit of everything in there.
Nice. Genre bending. I like it.
Yeah.
It's good that you're not constrained to one genre. You're just writing what you want to write.
Exactly. Well, that's what I like to read. I like to read books or watch movies and TV shows that they're not just any one thing.
I think it's good to not be afraid to kind of go over those boundaries, because I think sometimes you can think, oh, you've got to stay in your lane, but no, you can kind of veer off and do what you want, really. I'm not afraid to.
You can stay in your lane, but you can also create your own lane and off into the wood. Who's gonna? One of there's all these like rules for your first novel, and I feel like I'm breaking all. You're not supposed to write the first in a series, and mine is a trilogy. You're not supposed to have multiple main characters. I have 3. It's not supposed to be like epic. Like, keep it short. It's gigantic. My book is ridiculously big. Yeah, I just break every rule that they tell me not to do. Agent of Chaos.
I think you have to treat the rules, to kind of paraphrase Parts of the Caribbean, you have to treat the rules as more a series of guidelines, really.
Yeah. I think sometimes when you're writing different things, you've got a few different genres in the same book. I think it's more sometimes about pulling a lot of people in than necessarily putting people off. I think if you're giving people something they like, it's quite hard then to put them off because there's something a bit different. Maybe if it's completely opposite, it's so different, it's a complete mirror, you might upset people. But I think once people are pulled in with something, then they'll accept little bits of other genres. Or
there's a little bit of everything in there, a bit of a little bit for everybody, so to speak. Yeah, like sometimes when I read like the Song of Ice and Fire series, the Game of Thrones books, they have like my novel has a different point of view character in every chapter, and there's a couple characters that I'm not fond of. I don't like reading their chapters. I always do anyway because I know that a character that I love is right around the corner.
She's terrible.
No, I love Sansa chapters. How dare you? No, Brienne chapters. Brienne chapters in Feast for Crows are a slog to get through, man. Like those stuff.
Oh, is that when she walks from one end of the country to the other and then just turns around and goes back again?
Basically, yeah. That's
doesn't even throw any jewelry into any volcanoes.
Yeah, Cersei's the best POV character for me in that. Might be controversial, but
he is bananas. Like that character is so psychotic that she's so fun to read. You're reading her just ridiculous thoughts that make no sense, but she believes them wholeheartedly.
Constant scheming. It's the way there's always an angle in every scene. It's so entertaining.
My question about Cersei is: does the point of view switch to the ceiling towards the end of the series?
Switch to the ceiling. Oh, because
the scene
that's a show thing. That's not how she's gonna end.
Oh no, I'm just
yeah. Like I know the show ended like shitty, but that's not the books, man. Even the show at its best was not as good as the books, so it's fine. It's fine.
I've only read the first book so far, but I do mean to read the rest of it because I'm kind of having a bit of a fantasy kind of renaissance in my reading.
The third is my favorite.
I haven't done fantasy for a while because I had some bad experience with fantasy.
Sounds traumatic.
Yeah.
Well, I tried to read 2 authors.
His mother was shot by Lord of the Rings when he was in the womb.
That book was a struggle. And the other author I tried to read was Robin Hobb's books, and it was like wading through treacle. So that turned me off fantasy for about 10 years. Well, I'm now kind of going back into it, and I'm enjoying it.
Good. You strike me as a Pratchett fan.
I haven't got to now. Listen, Martin has suggested to me about 3 Pratchett books to finally get round to. So, as I'm kind of thawing on fantasy, they're on the list.
Start with Good Omens, because it's
Good Omens is a gateway drug.
Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman together co-writing that book. It's
so good.
I think Martin, you suggested what was it? Guards.
Yeah,
it's a good one too.
I like Making Money. It's a good one.
Sorry,
Guards is probably one of the more plotted of his books.
Some of them aren't very plotted at all.
No.
What was the one you suggested, Hannah? Sorry.
Making money or going postal. Or I like
Mr.
card,
Pratchett.
actually.
He'll be missed.
I think I've read about 15 of Discworld now, and I'm already sad that one day I will have read them all.
He will run out.
Yeah,
I
still
actually
have a
quite
bunch.
like his stuff with is it Stephen Baxter, the sci-fi stuff he did.
I read the first one of The Long Earth, and it was a good concept, but I kind of feel the wider the universe got, the plot got thinner and thinner, so it's kind of ran out of steam, so to speak.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with a lot of Pratchett writing. He's not big on plot, not really.
It's like a big idea, good idea, and see how far it goes. Yeah,
pretty much.
You read any, Malcolm?
Awkward too.
Pratchett, yeah, I probably my favourite was probably still the Colour of Magic, but just because of the fondness I have of first reading that book at about, I don't know, 11 or 12 years old, and it blowing my mind when Death starts swearing and Rinceman's trying to run away from him on a horse and all the rest of it. I just hadn't read anything like it at the time. So
I read it at about the same age and got about 12 pages in and was put off the genre for the next 20 years.
Jesus.
What?
It was just like, instead of any sort of narrative, it just stopped to explain that, words that were perfectly functional, like East and West, were replaced with these other words that confused me. And yeah,
he loves a footnote.
Yes, he does. Yeah. Sometimes it's quite a chore. Sometimes, isn't it, on some pages to go and check out all the footnotes. But I was reading a plot.
Sometimes the footnote's bigger than the actual page.
See, that's why I always recommend starting with Good Omens, because Neil Gaiman kind of tempers him down a little bit. I feel like he kind of washes out some of the more annoying things that he does.
I agree. I actually quite like his kid stuff too. The Hatful of Sky, I think, was the first thing I read of his.
Yeah, I read Good Omens a couple of years ago, and then I was moving, and my wife had already got a new job, so I had to pack up a whole apartment on my own, and just had about a week where I just had audiobooks on the go 24/7, and got through the first couple of Discworlds and a Star Trek: The Lost Years, which says far too much about me.
It does.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
What's the corniest book you've read that you actually really loved? Like your guilty pleasure book?
Richard's already
Richard's
reaching
getting
for
50
it.
Shades of Grey down. Ugh.
Corny, huh?
Ugh.
The corniest book I've read.
Corny.
Oh no.
For me, it's probably the Fiona
of
Vance.
Special place in my heart for that one.
Yeah.
There's definitely some Star Wars tie-in novels that I should know better, but would definitely go back to.
Mine's one of those too, not Star Wars, but Indiana Jones, the novels that went alongside those.
I've never read them. I know they did Indiana Jones and the Philosopher's Stone years before any other.
They're so bad.
I'm planting my bookshelf at the moment.
I don't know if this counts as corny, and I've given this before, but mine would be Apocalypse Cow.
That's on my to be read now.
It's a zombie where the cows are the zombies, and the sequel
That sounds amazing.
The sequel is World War Moo.
No, it's not. That's incredible.
Oh, yes, it is.
That is so good.
That looks just like fun, to be honest.
That looks great.
Yeah, it's good stuff. This is fun. I'm glad I did it.
Speaking of fun, what a pleasure this has been. Adrian, thank you for being with us. Malcolm, thank you for talking to other people for once. And Hannah, it's always great to have a proper writer on to put up with our silliness.
She reined in the silliness.
Yeah, it worked out.
Aw. Something like boring.
Just means you publish.
I know.
Oh.
No pouting. There's no pouting in flash fiction.
Okay.
Well, congratulations, everyone. We went through a whole episode for once without anyone making a joke about people taking their clothes off. If you
Or
like
Richard
Flash
mentioning pineapples even.
Oh. I would
It's
take my
like-
clothes off
Take
for that,
it,
Adrian.
Richard.
That sounded more like a Richard.
Excuse
if
me.
you like more
I
Flash
could write a kids TV show, like Pineapple Man
I don't like where that's going.
on a pizza.
Oh, no. It's not.
If you'd like more Flash Aha, then look for us on the 25th of February. And if you're around next Friday, then check out Colin Clark's channel where me and Richard will be in the first episode of The Brit Pack.
The Britpack Spectacular.
Are you allowed to tell us what that is?
If we knew, we would.
Okay. Is it
It's
because we're
basically
all
a
British?
secret group of British author tubers, which you get to join if Colin Clark taps you on the shoulder and says, "You're in the Brit Pack."
And he gives you the magic wink.
He's
Chris
knighted
Kenny's
you.
not in the Brit Pack, and no one will tell me why.
Who's not in the Brit Pack?
Chris Kenny.
I mean, I'm British and sat right here and not in it.
Yeah,
I
take it up
think
with Colin
Hannah
Clark.
should be in the Britpack. I'm going to complain to the management on your behalf,
Thank you, Karen. That would be lovely.
Hannah.
When's the
Should we say goodbye then?
Yeah, I feel like Paul Martin's been trying to wrap this up for about half an hour.
It's quite funny watching him keep jumping in there.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
So long,
Should we
everyone.
leave
You
on
don't
the
have to go
outro?
home, but you can't stay here.
Oh.
Oh.